Hello, happy Wednesday. I had planned to do a Christmas look, but I woke up with a bit of a migraine, more of a kind of annoying one. So I decided to just do neutral stuff. And right before I got to this side, it became full blown. So I just threw the rest of my makeup on, and I'm hopefully going to try tomorrow. The lights were really bothering me. So yesterday I did film a video that I said I was going to talk more about the move and all that. It was 17 minutes, so I'm going to try again. Hopefully make it shorter, but I don't know, because once I start, it's hard to stop. And so much happened, like I can't even remember, like, a lot of it, because it's just been 3 years of just constant, non-stop stress, trauma, depression, irritability, and everything. And, you know, I at some point just switched to go mode, and I just kept plowing through all of it, just kept going, and I'm reaching the point now where I'm finally starting to relax, my body, my mind. Um, so, and since, well, a little bit after we got here, because when we first got here, it wasn't so fun. But at some point, we just started to be happy. I mean, myself, my babies, and my son, all of us, everything changed for us. It was amazing. But anyway, so when we first got here, I thought, great, my luck has followed me because things were not good. I thought my cat fell out a third-story hotel window, messed me up. I was hysterical and just hated myself for moving here. Every negative thing that could be felt, I felt it. But then he was found in the hotel room. A little butthead. I'm very thankful, though. He found a place that I guess other people have lost their pets at in that hotel. There's a place in the mattress that you absolutely cannot see, and you would not think to even look there. And this one woman happened to tell me about it because she had lost her dog too. And I went to ask, I saw her standing out there, and I said, "Have you seen this cat?" And she said no, and she told me, "But you might want to look here because I've lost my dog too. And this is where I found him." And I was so scared to look because I thought, he's not going to be there. He's not going to be there. So I went to the room, but I stood there for a long time praying that he was going to be there. But I was so scared that he wasn't. But when I looked, he was. Oh my God, I'd never been so relieved about something in my life. Oh, that cat has just... And then that night, he had a medical emergency. My phone quit working. I was trying to find an emergency vet. Oh my God. And my phone would not work. It's dead. I had to, the next day, go get a new one. But in the meantime, I tried to get it on my laptop to find an emergency vet. The laptop wouldn't let me do anything because it said Wi-Fi was unsafe. And it kept saying disconnect, disconnect, even though it wouldn't let me connect. So I couldn't do anything on that. So I had to show up at my friend's house the next day very early and tell them what was going on, and he took me and my cat to the emergency vet, and we got that taken care of. it turns out he had some sort of stones, and it's usually caused from stress, which, if there is stress to be had, that cat will have it. And in turn, stress me out. Ugh. And then I had to take my girl in with the seizures because she was doing nothing but sleeping, and she had me scared. But it turns out she was okay, thank God. And oh my God, I can't even remember half the stuff. Oh, I used Pods moving service, and they told me give us like 4 days notice before you want your stuff delivered, you know. So I called them. I think I gave them like 5 or 6 days notice, and like our move-in date was November 21st. So I called, you know, before then and told them, you know, and for whatever reason, they said that they couldn't have it here until December 4th or 5th. So I said, okay, you know, fine. So I had the good sense to buy 2 twin beds for us, you know. I don't know what made me do that, but I did. And so we had beds anyway to sit and sleep on, you know. So I don't know about, when was it? Like maybe close to 2 weeks ago. I kept checking on them, you know, online, and it said something weird constantly. So I finally called, you know, I said, I gotta make sure this is still on track. And they told me, oh, your pods are there. They were here last week, which was, you know, weeks ago. So my stuff had been here all that time, and they didn't bother to tell me, even though they had told me that it would be December 4th or 5th. So we just started getting our stuff this past Friday, and we're going back this weekend. Hopefully get the rest of it, because it's expensive to keep that stuff there. But, and I don't know, it's just been so much happening, you know, but we've been just so happy, so different, so positive. Like in the other place, I didn't want to be awake there, you know. I hated waking up there and having to be in that house every day and in that state. And by state, I mean the state I was living in, you know. I hated that place, and I didn't want to, because that was where my mom was born and raised, and the majority of my mother's family, you know. But it just got to the point I couldn't stand it. And I talked about this before, I think, or maybe I didn't, but that particular state that the majority of my mom's family was from was not good to a lot of the women in our family. I mean, it was horrible. My aunt lost her son, I think he was 13. My grandmother had breast cancer at an early age. My mom went through stuff. I went through stuff. I mean, it was not a good place for a lot of the women, you know. My other aunt also lost a child. I could just go on and on. And by the time, you know, that I finally, you know, was able to get everything done and put the house up, I was just desperate to get out of there, you know. Ugh. I will probably make more videos, you know, talking about this stuff, but, you know. Then we got here, and I thought, oh my God, I made another mistake, you know. But then, I just was in a state of anxiety and panic, and, I didn't feel comfortable, and everyone kept telling me, it's just because you're in a new place and you'll adjust. And I did, finally they told me, when you get into your house and, you're going to feel better. And thankfully they were right. And, like I said, everything has just changed. My son's attitude and outlook, mine. My cats are happier and active, like my girl with the seizures. She's running. She hasn't done that in years. She's only 5, but she runs after her brother. She's playing all the time. She's active. She's happy. I think a lot of that with her was she really picks up on my, emotional attitude. And, with me being happy and positive and everything now, she's feeling a lot better. It was hard on all of them, the move, the drive, because it was a long, long drive. It took 2 days. But they're happy, And when we started getting our furniture, they really got happy. They were so happy to see their bed and their couch, and it's just been wonderful. Like, I can't explain. It's just been such a positive thing, which is what I was desperately hoping for, And it has been. Yeah, well, what was that? I don't want this to be 17 minutes, but we're getting close. So I'm going to go. I might do more later. I don't know. And I go sit in my room with just the Christmas tree lights on, and hope this migraine lessens or goes away soon. So hopefully I will see you soon. Bye.